Welcome to CrashRacer. Today we're playing Formula Retro Racing World Tour. So we're going to do the arcade mode and we are going to pick the New York track. I'm going to go for expert difficulty. So into the race then.
Start your engines.
As it says, rolling start. So the first lap needs to be a quick one, as do they all. I've tried this challenge, arcade mode, expert level at the New York track a number of times now. Oh, big crash there in front, wheels flying off. This is a really tough challenge. Obviously this first part is probably the hardest. There's that many cars in front to try and avoid. We've had a fairly good start. Got past all that that first group and up into 8th place. Yeah, so the arcade mode, of course, you've got the countdown timer in the middle of the screen, counting down to 0, and you've got to get through the checkpoints before that gets down to 0. Tends to the time you've got left to get over the checkpoints tends to get less and less as you go through this challenge. It really is a tough one, this one, especially on this expert difficulty. So 4 laps we've got to complete. Obviously the idea is to attempt to win if possible, but the hardest thing is actually completing those 4 laps, getting through all the checkpoints before the timer ticks down to 0. We've had a fairly good first lap, 1 minute 6.96. That probably could have done with being a bit quicker actually. Yeah, from the experience I've got, you need sort of 1 minute 5 laps to, I think, have any chance of completing this arcade mode at New York. So we'll see how we do, but of course that first lap is the hardest, as I say, with all the cars around. Oh, nearly got my wheels over the gravel on the inside. That's the other thing to watch. Get your wheels over the gravel on the inside or the outside and it will just slow the car. And again, you cannot afford to do that at all on this challenge. You can see how close the timer is already on this checkpoint. We're down to about 6 seconds as we went through that checkpoint before we got the time extended. I can sling it up the inside. This is a nice fast track, which is good in some ways, not in others. It's fast because a lot of these right angle corners you can take full speed. The only thing is you've got to get your line really good. If you get your line a little bit wrong, then you're either going to have to brake or lift, and chances are if you get it too wrong, then you're going to be running off the track. But if you don't get the corners right, then you're not going to be quick enough at all. So where are we now? We're up in 1st place now, so it really is now a challenge of against the clock. We've got to complete these final lap and a half, or nearly 2 laps actually, before the timer gets down to 0 each time we get to the checkpoints. It's going to be really close, I think. No back markers in the way. Hopefully there won't be any before the end to slow us up. Really enjoying playing this game though, and I'm going to have a go at completing all the tracks if possible in expert mode in this arcade type of game. It's really good fun, and it's a really, as you can see, you've got a real good sensation of speed on this game. And as I say, with a lot of these corners you really do have to commit to them and throw the car in fast, which adds to the excitement, because if not, you're not going to get through. We're coming up to the end of the 3rd lap then, and this is going to be close even through the checkpoint this time. Yeah, only about 3 seconds left on the timer as we went through the checkpoint. Right, we've got to complete the whole of the rest of this lap now, getting through each of the checkpoints to finish. 2nd and 3rd laps were pretty consistent times, just over 1 minute 5, which are good laps. I think if anything is going to let us down, obviously we need a good lap for this final one, but that first lap, 1 minute 6.96, probably needed to be a bit quicker. But it is so tricky to do a quick lap on that first lap with so many cars in the way. This is going to be close on this checkpoint by the look of it. There's the checkpoint there. I'm not sure if we're going to make it. Oh, just right on the absolute limit there. Right, we've got to get through to the end now. Got to sling it fast through here. This is a difficult corner. It's just over right angle, so you've got to get your line right. This is one of the main corners that you do have to slow for, this final one. Now get the power down. 5, 4, 3, 2, I think we're going to be short again. Oh wow, again, that must have been on the absolute limits. The amount of times I've got within 20-30 yards of the finish before the timer has expired, but Finally, I've managed to do it first place on the expert difficulty of the arcade at the New York track. If you fancy a challenge, definitely have a go at that one. It's a real tough one. Well, I hope you've enjoyed watching the video, and see you soon.